Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, TheRumpledOne, coming to you Wednesday, March the 16th, the year's 2022. Let's talk trading. Trading Better Part 9 with Walmal. These videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine and from Walmal. Walmal, welcome back.
Well, thank you for having me back. It's been a little bit of time since I've been on a call with you, but it's just been in my just for transparency, just been a rough couple of months for me, personal wise, and very very close people in my life who have passed away, and so it makes things a little bit tougher, but at the same time, it doesn't negate the fact that we still need to go and make a living. We still need to go and trade, and we need to. I think you said that you've been talking about trading better. Well, this gives you an opportunity to trade better.
So, Walmal, over the past couple of years, we've been trading. Are you trading better?
I am trading significantly better. I think we even talked about that a week or two ago, not on a video, but just personally talking to each other. And, there's a couple of things I think that really caused that to happen. I think the biggest one is just being on the phone with you on a regular basis, and the reason why is because you've held me accountable. You didn't let me get away with things, which is a good thing. And we should all be striving for that, finding something that keeps us accountable. And here's the reason why. To trade better, there really is one thing and one thing alone that really needs to happen, in my opinion. You can disagree with me, TRO, if you want, but I think the one thing that matters most is that big word that begins with the letter D, and that's discipline. You need to be disciplined, and sometimes you can be disciplined on your own, and sometimes you need somebody to kick you in the butt when you're not being disciplined. But I think that's the key to trading better. You need to be disciplined. You need to go and have a plan. You need to go and approach your plan with discipline. You need to be able to approach your plan knowing that this is what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to deviate from it. I'm going to follow the plan. And if you have a good plan and you bore it out that you can make money with it and you stick with it, well, guess what? The thing is, you may lose some money in the short run because that's what happens sometimes, but in the long run, you're going to make money. I think about, now trading is not, it's not gambling per se, okay? But if you think about the casinos, they have a plan. And they're only looking for an edge of what, on some games as low as only 0.25%, But the thing is, they know that in the long run, if I go and if they stick to their plan and they adhere to their plan, they're going at the end of the day, or maybe at the end of the week, or maybe at the end of the month, or even the end of the year, they're going to have more money in the bank than they did at the beginning of all of it. Well, that's what we have to do as traders.
Well, somebody might argue against that, considering what happened to Atlantic City, right?
Yeah, well, and some people will go and say, well, they didn't stick to that plan too, or they didn't have a good plan. That's part of it. You have to have a good plan. And have an idea of what's going on. And we could talk about what happened in Atlantic City. But the problem with Atlantic City, a lot of it came down to forces outside of their control that they did not go and they did not put into their plan, because they had a lot of things happen governmentally down there that caused a lot of issues for them. But that's but if all things created equal, if you're a casino and you have a half percent edge over everybody else, you have 55.5% or 50.5% chance of winning, and the guy out in the street only has 49.5. Well, guess what? Yeah, you're going to get the guy every once in a while who's going to go and make some money, but overall, you're going to make, the road is slow, but you'll get there and you'll make money. And I think that's the key to trading. The key to trading is going and having a plan, showing on paper that this is a plan that makes sense, and and then going and sticking to it. So we've talked about trading plans in the past, but what goes into that? Well, your trading plan, everybody puts in their trading plan the method of how they're going to get into a trade. Very few people talk about a trading plan on how you get out of a trade. How do you get out of a trade? What causes you to exit, with a loss? What causes you to exit with a win? A lot of people just fly with the seat of the pants, and then what happens is they get shocked that, hey, how come I'm winning 70% of the time, and yet I still got a negative number at the end of the week? Well, maybe you look at your trading plan, or if you do have it, look at the way that you're playing your trading plan. Are you being disciplined and doing what your trading plan says to do, or are you being emotional? We talked about that the other day, Tira, where, do I exit the trade because I'm being emotional, or am I exiting a trade because I'm following my plan?
Right. Now, you said you started off by saying that I held you accountable. Tell the boys and girls and non-binary traders how I hold you accountable.
Basically, in the beginning, I don't do it very often now, but in the beginning, I go and I had a plan. Basically, at the time, I was just doing the Walmal method, and that was the only thing I was doing. But then I'd go and take some type of, I take what I call a wag trade, a wild ass guess, and just go and take it because I, for whatever reason, would go and do that. And you basically come out and say, excuse my language, but what the hell was that? What are you doing? You're not following your own trading plan, and you call me on it, and that's where I think a trading partner is very, very helpful. Because the thing is, if that person knows how you trade and knows your plan inside and out, and they don't even have to trade the same trading plan as you. In fact, it may be better that they don't. But you have somebody, that's with you on the phone or whatever, and you're being complete, and that's the thing, you got to be completely honest. You're being completely honest with your partner and saying, okay, I'm going in here, I'm getting out there, that type of thing. And you have to have enough trust with each other where they can go and legitimately say to you, hey, you're being a bonehead here, stop it. That's where I think that you helped me out a lot, was that, and I've gotten to the point now where my biggest person that goes and slaps me inside the head is not you anymore, it's myself. So when I go and take a trade that's really like really stupid to take, it's like, what the heck were you thinking when you pulled that trigger? And more times than not, what I do now is that, especially if I'm being disciplined, I took the trade. Even if it looks like it's going to go in my direction, it's not my trade. Get out of the trade. And I just go and I just do that now. And it's more to mitigate against the potential of it going against you. And actually, probably, let me go and rephrase it. It's more to go and make sure that I'm staying disciplined to my plan, and that's why I do that.
Right. Now, the one thing you said that I might argue against you about the discipline, and the only thing is that um, we only have so much discipline in the tank. And what happens is you have to set up your environment so it will keep you, or it's more likely to keep you on the path. And the second thing is you have to just basically turn what you do into a habit, because once it's a habit, then you don't need the discipline. Discipline's only in the beginning. So like if you normally say, if your morning routine is get up, go to the bathroom, get dressed, and then, start exercising, at first it's going to take discipline. It's like, oh, I don't feel like it. Oh, I don't feel like it. But you just do it anyway. That's the discipline. But then after a while, you just automatically do it. It's like, it's almost impossible for you not to do it.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, and you're exactly right. Discipline turns into habit. And that's the thing. The only difference is that habit, you can have good habit and bad habit. So discipline keeps you in good habit, I guess. So you need to go and always have that discipline, I think, surrounding it. And I look at it sort of like habit, sort of like a river. You're floating down a river, but discipline, which is what keeps you inside the bank, so keeps the river inside the banks. And so you need to have, I think, a little bit of both, because the thing is, habits can be broken.
Right.
Or worse worse than habits being broken is bad habits can develop.
Exactly.
And then, I've mentioned this here before, and I always mean to go look it up, but I don't recall what it is. But it's sort of like it takes 21 days to go and actually form a habit, and it takes only like 3 days to break a habit. I forget what the actual numbers are, but it's something that drastic.
Well, actually, they've, depending on the study, they've actually increased that number because they've been over the past decade or so, habits have, kind of been one of the buzzwords or fads or whatever you want to call it. But there's been a lot of research in that area.
Yeah. But the thing is, I find with myself, it's sort of like I sat down today at the computer and I got into a trade, and it was sort of like I didn't even, I took the trade and I took it very, very quickly. Normally I like to sit down for a while, and, so I broke one of my rules where I like to sit there for a while and look at the charts and everything else, but I just saw everything. But then it was kind of interesting, you're talking about habit as opposed to discipline. What was very interesting is that when I went back and looked at the trade that I took, I went and asked all the questions that I normally would ask prior to taking the trade. I wasn't asking myself were the conditions met. I asked myself, did I go and check those boxes off in my head? Mm-hmm. And to my surprise, I did. It's just that I did it extremely rapidly, mm-hmm. And I didn't have to sit there and think about it. I was able to look at the chart. Bam, 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 bam. Okay, take the trade, and I took it, and luckily it worked out it worked out well for me. But that's kind of where you want to get your discipline turned into, is the habit to the point at which you're not even thinking anymore. And I know you've talked about this in videos in the past, especially a couple of years ago, where you talk about you take the trade. You don't think about taking the trade. You take the trade. But the thing is, you need to go and have all the conditions met. So that's not thinking, that's checking boxes, And, if you remember, I guess almost 2 years ago, we set up that not an EA, but a indicator, the ready, set, go for the DSR trades.
Right.
Why did we want that? Because we wanted to check the boxes that all the conditions were met in order to take that trade.
Right.
And what that does is that, what you've done is setting the boxes up. That's the discipline part. Okay. Knowing that you've met all those conditions, that's the habit part. You don't even have to go and say, okay, did it do this? Did it do this? Did it do that? No, I can see that immediately. I can go and see that. And, and this is kind of off topic, but not really. We talked about, this idea of what are indicators, why do we use indicators? Well, we use indicators to go and let us know where price is and how price is moving. But at least that's how I use indicators. But there's a second reason for using indicators, and that is it teaches you and creates habits in you so that you can see how price is moving. And so eventually the indicator should be able to go away, because as that discipline becomes entrenched into a habit, you don't need the indicator anymore. You can just look at the chart and see what price has done.
Mm-hmm. So we got about a minute left. Is there anything else you want to say about trading better?
And then the last part of trading better is your money management. But again, that's got to be part of your trading plan. So many people, they don't have a money management scheme. They may have a scheme where they go and say, okay, I'm not going to lose more than X dollars on this trade. That's not really money management. And that's something that maybe we could talk about in another video at some point in time. What is truly money management? How do you manage your trades in terms of money? I do something that, a lot of people would say you shouldn't do, but at the same time, with my personality, the way I work, the way my discipline and habit forms work, it works for me. For the other guy out in the street, it may or may not work for them. So you got to develop money management plans so that you can go and manage the money, because at the end of the day, what really matters more than anything else is, do you have more money in the account at the end of the day than you did at the beginning of the day? That's the only thing that really matters.
Yeah. Well, the fastest 15 minutes in trading is up once again. Thanks for coming by, Walmal. And fellow traders, always remember and never forget, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is TheRumpledOne, over and out.